Hello and welcome to this video. In this video, we'll learn about another function in Python, which is input function. The last video, we learned about the print function, which is used to display or print the output or any value or a variable's value on the screen, right? In input function, as the name suggests, so let me open a notepad, certain things there. Input function is used to take an input from the user. Now, till now what we have been seeing, till now we have been assigning the value to a variable directly, right? This is called hard coding. Let's say mark. So now let's say, for example, you have to write a program in which you don't have the name of the person, right? You don't have the name of the person. Rather, you have to ask the user for the name of whoever user is using your program. So in Python or any other program, if you want to take an input from the user, there should be a way, right? Otherwise, the program will not be able to interact with the user. So in Python, we have the input function to interact with the user or take inputs from the user, right? So if you see, let's take an example wherein I'm saying first name equal to, and I'm saying input and open and close brackets. It's pretty simple and straightforward. Let's see what happens when we run this program. When you run this program, if you see here, the cursor is blinking, okay? It means it is waiting for you to type an input, okay? So let's say, I'll say John. As soon as I write John and press enter, what happens is, so see, what input function does is, input function will give an option for the user to write anything for that matter. So I've written John here, right? So when John is written here, it gets stored in this variable called first underscore name. All right. How to verify that? We can print first underscore. See, it says John. It means that using this input, we have typed in the value of the name, first name, and we have stored it in the variable first underscore name. This is a very simple example of taking an input from a user. Now let's take another input from the user. Let's say age, and let's say input, right? And I will press enter. And if you see, the cursor will start blinking here. It means it is not coming out. See, it's not giving me the prompt again. These three arrows are not coming, right? So it is waiting for my input. Let's say, I say 25. Now the prompt has come, and it means that the input has been registered in the variable age, which can be checked using the print function. Print age. When you do that, you get 25. Now, in these two examples, if you see, when I say input, how do I know that I have to print or I have to insert or I have to give an input as a name? Since I was writing the program, I created a variable first name and I knew I'm looking for a name, right? Similarly here, I'm creating a program, so I know what am I looking for? I'm looking for age. But when you write programs, the user that is using your program will not be able to see what you are actually writing, what you're expecting as an input. So you have to tell the user that what you are expecting, right? So you can do that by using an option called prompt in the input function. So let's rewrite the program with the prompt or with the message that tells the user what to do, right? What to insert or what to input. So let's say I rewrite first name equal to input, and inside the bracket if you see here, idle will give you some kind of a hint, right, of that function. So it is looking for a prompt. By default, the prompt is empty. That's why it is not failing, or it is not giving anything. We can actually change this value, right? We can do something like enter your name, right? Let's do that and press enter. When I press enter, if you see here, whatever I have written as the message or the prompt here, it comes here. So this will be displayed to the user for their understanding. Now the user understands that, okay, the program is asking me for my name, right? Now we can say, let's say J. Let's try to print first name now. First name says J. All right. Now, to make it more readable, we can rewrite it as, let's use the age variable. Let's take the age of the user. We'll write enter your age, or to make it more interactive, how old are you? Right, and I'm giving a space here like this, right? Now see, since I have given a space here, the cursor is blinking after a space, right? So whatever you write in the prompt will be displayed, and then it will wait for the user input. So let's say the age is 30. Okay. Now since the prompt is coming, you can print the value of age and see what's the value of age, which is 30. So what did we learn? Instead of writing or hard coding the values in a variable, we can take inputs from the user using the input function. All right. Now let's take another example. Let's write a simple program wherein we take two inputs from the user, two numbers from the user, and try to add them and display the result using the print function. All right. So how we'll do it? So let's take num1 equal to, where is it? Num1 equal to input, enter a number, in colon and space, right? So it is asking for enter a number. Let's say I'll give 10. Done. Then I'll say num2 input, enter another number, space, let's say 15. All right. So the values of 10 of num1 and num2 are 10 and 15. Now how to add them? Let's say result equal to num1 plus. All right. Then print result. This is how you print the result. Let's see what is the output here. What is the expected output? 10 plus 15 is 25. All right. Let's see. Is it 25 in the output? No, it is 10515. It is 1015. Now, why has it happened? Why does it happen? There is one important thing we have to understand about the input function is any input that is received using the input function, when we use the input function, in other words, when we use the input function and receive or fetch an input from the user, it will be received as a string and stored as a string in the variables, any of these variables. How to verify that? You can use a type function. You know the type function? Type of num1. If you do type of num1, you get str. You get type of num2, you get str. So num1 plus num2 is actually not an addition. It's actually a string concatenation which is happening here. Do you understand? 10 as a string plus 15 as a string. It is joining or concatenation. So 1015 as a string will be the output. Right? Understood? Now this is the problem. Right? The expectation was not this. We wanted to input two integers. That was the expectation, and we wanted to add them together. Even the user wanted to do that, right? If you see the prompt here or the message here, it says enter a number and enter another number and print. If you print the result as 1015, the user will get confused what has happened here, right? They are expecting 25 as an output. So think for a bit and tell me and write a program, or think what changes you can do here to get the output as 25. If you've thought of it, good. If you're not sure what to do here, let's understand. We have already seen the concept of typecasting or type conversion, right? Now, can we change the data type of 10 as a string into an integer, right? It is 10 as a string, right? It's not an integer. The answer is yes, we can do that, right? So how to do it? Int of num1 is 10, int of num2 is 15. So instead of result num1 plus num2, can I do result equal to int of num1 plus int of num2. Now if I print the result, I'll get 25, because what we have done is we have converted the string into an integer, right? So here if you see, num1 is a string 10, right? 10. Num2 is string 15. When you convert int 10, you'll get a 10 as an integer. Here you will get a 15 as an integer, and there's a plus sign in the middle. Plus with integers is addition. You get 10 plus 15, which is 25. That gets stored in the variable called result. And when you print the variable result using the print function, we get integer 25. All right, makes sense? Let's take another basic example on the same terms. So let's take an input called year, right? Input. What is the current year, right? Say 2020. Okay, 2020 is the current year. Let's assume that it's 20. Okay, and then take the input as the age. What is your age? Let's see. The person says 40. Okay. Now what we have to print is, we have to print the year this person was born, right? The output should be you were born in the year. It will be 2000 minus 45, right? 1970. This is what I want. So what I will do? Can you do simply as year minus age? Can you do that? No, you can't. Why? What has happened here? It says type error, unsupported operand for minus string and string. So what is happening is we're trying to subtract a string from a string. So age is a string and year is a string. Why? Because when we take an input from the user using the input function, we get it as a string. Always remember this. All right. So what you have to do? You have to do something like this: int of year minus int of age. You get 1975. So let's store that in a variable. Born year born underscore year equal to int of the year, current year minus int of age. Very simple, right? We print. So let's print like this. Print you were born in the year and then comma year, born year, right? So when I write this, we will get you were born in the year, and then separator automatically will the space and the value born year will be printed. So you were born in the year 1975. So that's all for this video. What we learned in this video was how to take input from the user. Input function gives us string always. Depending on the data type that we are expecting, we need to convert or typecast to that data, right? Always we get a string. So if we are expecting an integer, we will typecast it to an integer. If we are expecting a float, we will typecast it to a float. Do the calculation or any evaluation that is required. Otherwise, it will start giving us error. Here, this was input function in Python. Thank you.